This morning, let's talk about the big winners and, of course, some of the big losers from this morning's Oscars. Joining me now on the show, the founders of the Bioscope Independent Films. You'll know their names if you follow movies. Russell Grant and Daryl Else. Russell sitting closest to me, Daryl furthest away from me. We'll get to Daryl in a moment. Russell, morning to you first, though. And I think, let me give you the opportunity to say just how important this is, I think, for searching for Sugarman. Big news this morning.
Yeah, it's great. It's a fantastic film, and I think the best thing about it is that it's obviously a South African story. It's a very international film, being made by a Swedish filmmaker about an American man, but at the end of the day, it's a South African story, which I think we all know well, and is something that could only really ever have happened in South Africa at a very particular time. And it's amazing that people have gotten to hear that story and can now appreciate Rodriguez.
And Daryl, it's not just a South African story now, is it? It's based in South Africa, about South Africans, but now the international community believes it is phenomenal, the story. Why do you think there's so much international appeal?
I'm not sure, because for so many years it was just, he was so popular here, and I think in Australia and New Zealand, and I think it's just really the kind of the elements of the narrative that I think just appeal to, they've just caught a kind of global interest.
Rodriguez, I heard earlier, you might correct me if I'm wrong on this, deciding not to go to the Oscars to take the award. He didn't want to take away from the film. It tells you a bit about the artist.
That's interesting.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, you see from the film that he's like an incredibly humble guy. The money that he makes from his performances now, I think he's just been in the country. He might.
Yep.
He doesn't take it. He spreads it to his whole family, and he still is very much a kind of a hands-on construction worker, and he's very much about the kind of
and didn't realize
the working class man, and so that makes sense that he wouldn't be at the Oscars.
And also didn't realize quite the impact his film would have had in the country and around the world. Lots of other things to talk about. Daryl, let me just come back to you for a moment. Some of the other big names today: Anne Hathaway, Christoph, Waltz this morning. Waltz for me not really all that surprising.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, after Inglourious Basterds, I think he's just a global success now, so I'm really happy to see that win. Anne Hathaway, you've seen the film. What did you think?
I haven't seen it.
You haven't seen it? Okay.
So what do you think of her getting the award, the best supporting actress?
I think that's great. I mean, I've always liked her work. I think she's great. Another interesting thing was the South African short film was actually nominated for Best Live Action. Sadly, it didn't win. But
South Africans, I think, certainly not holding back when it comes to this year's Oscars, huh?
Yeah.
And Russell, when it comes to the big movies that we've been talking about and some of the expected results, Django Unchained was one of those. Mr. Tarantino just not doing anything wrong yet again, not getting an award for the director, but Best Screenplay Adaptation.
Best original screenplay.
Argo
won Best Adapted Screenplay.
And I'm going to interrupt you to say that Ang Lee has won Best Director for Life of Pi.
Right, now, this is just coming in now, by the way, and that was a phenomenal film. I don't think any real surprises, even from your side, for Life of Pi.
It's a fantastic film. Yeah. It was great, and it was even more amazing watching it in 3D as well. I mean, they really did a good job with the 3D.
What didn't? Let me, Russell, come to you first. We've spoken about some of the winners: Anne Hathaway, Christoph Waltz, Argo, Django Unchained. Who didn't get? Let's start with you, Russell. Who didn't get the recognition you think that they deserved?
I don't know. I think the films are doing really well. The great films are doing really well. I think Life of Pi, as I said, is a phenomenal film. I hope it would win best film.
So no real surprises.
No. Yeah, I think it's safe to say that there's no disappointment.
And Daryl, one final word from you as well. I mean, are you looking at your iPhone or whatever device that might be? The news coming in. Anything caught you off guard? Anything that's gone, wow, that really caught me by surprise?
Okay, well, Jennifer Lawrence just won leading actress, which is big news. The one thing I would say, just to add to your previous question, was it's a bit surprising that Tarantino wasn't nominated for a Best Director nomination.
Yeah, is that outdated? Do you think it's time?
I think it's a bit of politics, really.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess it's, but it's a very open Oscars. I think one of the most open races we've seen in a long time. So, I mean, the best award, the best film award, is coming up in just a moment.
All right. Well, I was about to ask you about that. I want a prediction from both of you. Daryl, let me stay with you. Best film award, go.
It's a tough one.
3.
I'm going to go with Argo.
You're going to go with Argo. Russell, talk to me.
I believe it'll be Argo.
As well. So 2 for Argo. A few minutes from yourself. We're going to find out. I think it's going to go to Django. How much you want to?
It'd
Let's
be
see what
amazing if it did. It's a
let's
great
see what
film.
maybe Life of Pi. I think if I had to put my head on a block,
Yeah.
maybe Life of Pi. You're going to hold me to this. This is going to be fun. All right, Russell Grant and Daryl Elston.